Hello and welcome. I'm so glad you stopped by. I'm Amy Fellner Dominy, and I'm here to offer you a quick writing tip that was going to help you no matter what kind of story you're writing. And I call it the problem with your story problem. So I'm the author of novels for teens, high school. I write for kids in middle school, and I also write picture books for toddlers. And it doesn't matter what age I'm writing for, what kind of story I'm writing, every story needs to have the same thing, and that's a problem. Now, in life, problems are bad things, and we want to avoid them at all costs. But in your stories, problems are great things. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today and how to make sure that you have a great problem for your story. So let's start with just a quick reminder of the elements in your story. So you're going to have a character, you have a main character, and that character has a goal. And this is what your character wants, the important thing that they need, they're trying to get through the course of the story. And then you have the problem. Now, if there's no problem, your character is just going to get their goal right away and your story kind of fizzles out. So if you've ever been stuck in a story before and not sure why you've run out of things to write about, it could be because you don't have enough of a story problem. So we're going to talk a little bit more about problems. Your story needs big problems, hard to solve problems, maybe even piles of problems. So I always start by asking myself this one question. How can I ruin my character's life? Yes, being a novelist can be a lot of fun. So you want to think about your character and what can you do to make things really bad for them? And once you have that question in mind, you basically just brainstorm. Think about your character. What would really mess them up? What are the things that they're most afraid of? What do they really hate? So I'm going to show you an example of story problems, and I'm going to use my story addition and subtraction. So this is a story I wrote, and I wanted to write about something that happened to me. When I just started high school, I had a best friend, Mary. We did everything together, and we were also in the band together. She played the flute, I played the clarinet, and I was always kind of nervous about auditions, but we would play duets together at all the festivals where we had to play. So I really relied on her until our freshman year. Mary met this boy. He was also in the band, and she started spending more and more time with him until they became boyfriend and girlfriend. And it was really hard for me because I didn't have a lot of friends. I had my best friend, and I also was a kid that didn't like a lot of change. So things started to change really fast after that happened. So I wanted to write a story about somebody, a girl going through what I went through, facing all these changes and learning about how to be strong enough to stand on her own. So maybe instead of having to be part of a duet, strong enough to go solo. All right. So that's what I knew I wanted to write about. So the first thing is to think about character. All right, so my character I decided is Tatum. Tatum is in the 8th grade. She plays clarinet in the band. Her best friend is Lori. She's afraid to perform by herself, but she does a duet with Lori, and she hates change. So yes, I did take a lot of things from real life. But then I needed to create a whole story around that. So I gave her a goal. What was Tatum's goal? So I decided there's going to be a district honor band audition coming up. Tatum really wants to audition and she wants to make the band. All right, so now I've got my character, my goal. Let's talk about problems. All right, so Tatum hates change and she's got this big goal ahead of her. So how can I make this really hard for her? So we've got Tatum, we've got Lori. All right, and now what if I add to the mix a new boy that joins their school? And his name is Michael, and he starts to come between them. Now, worse for Tatum, Michael plays clarinet. So he's in direct competition with her for her spot in the band. And remember, her goal is district honor band. So now Michael's going to audition for the same spot that she wants in district honor band. So that's pretty frightening. Now, the good thing is Tatum has her best buddy Lori, and they're going to do a duet together. But what if Lori says no, she won't do the duet? All right, that's another big problem. How can I make that worse? What if Lori decides to do that duet instead with Michael? So that's really stressful. Can I make that any worse? Well, now they're boyfriend and girlfriend. So maybe it's not just at band, but it's all during school. It's every lunchtime. It's before school. It's after school. So now Tatum doesn't have her best friend at any of those times. So that's worse. All right. What else? Can I do anything else? All right. So things are really bad at school. What if I messed things up for her at home? She doesn't like change. What if her parents split up? I mean, that's just a really hard thing. And especially for Tatum, who doesn't want things to change. So suddenly her dad maybe is not living at home anymore. All right, can I make that problem any worse? Can I add any more problems? Okay, what if mom decides to be in community theater? So she starts dressing up in costumes and like acting out these roles in public. So that would be just a little humiliation on top of everything. So there you can see I started with the character with her goal and then just brainstormed up some problems to make it really difficult for her. So when you're working on your story, make your story stronger by filling it with problems. And hopefully that is the end of problems with your story problems. And it is also the end of this video. Thanks so much for joining me, and I hope you'll find that helpful, and good luck with your writing.